So how's it going, guys? Fly here back with another Grand Theft Auto 5 video. Now in this one I wanted to talk about this screenshot that we actually received, or two screenshots that we actually received from Rockstar Games and IGN related to the first person view on the next gen versions of GTA 5. So I'm going to be breaking down the actual Lazer cockpit which we've seen in the trailer and in some screenshots, and I want to be going into what each dial is going to do, what ones we can recognise, which ones are visible, and which ones are still left to the imagination, and what's actually going to be working in the cockpit. So if you guys do enjoy the video or do learn anything useful, of course go and leave a like down below as it really would help me out. Now let's go. So the picture on screen now is actually one that we received as a screenshot form by Rockstar Games. Now this is a picture of the Lazer cockpit, the P996 Lazer if you want to be specific, flying over the Fort Zancudo military base. Now I have 6 things that I'd like to be able to show to you, I guess 7 technically, and I want to kind of break down and see if each one's actually going to be working and which ones I already know are already going to be working. So the first one that I wanted to point out is the altimeter. So if you look around in the center console to the top left, if we have the 3 main circles at the bottom of the screen, the one in the top left, the black one with the white dots around it, looks to be the altimeter. It says ALT on it, and that would indicate your height relative to the ground or wherever you are. I'd imagine this would definitely be one of the ones that would actually be working as you fly around, as it would be a very fun dial to be able to indicate your height with, and I imagine that it'll probably go quite complex, as it looks like it has 2 dials here, and then it'll be able to indicate your exact height wherever you're flying. So the next thing that I'd like to point out on the list is actually the radar. So if you look over in the center console but slightly over to the right, you can actually see this kind of crescent shape here that actually has lots of green dotted lines around it, and we're actually able to see one green dot in the rightmost quarter of it. Now this looks like it's going to be a radar. It looks like you're going to be able to see all of your air targets around you instead of being able to see them directly through the outside, like through the window. You'll be able to also track them on the radar or on your minimap. So this does look like a very interesting thing to be able to see exactly where your other players are in when you're in a dogfight in online. So I'm definitely excited to see if this actually works or if it's just a placeholder texture, because I think this could really change the way that we play. For example, if anybody's called Lester to have themselves removed off of the minimap for 1 minute, would that still work? Would that same thing still apply if you tried to go off the Lazer radar? So we're just going to have to see how this pans out. Next up is actually the landing gear up and down buttons. So you can look over to the rightmost side of this picture here, or the rightmost side of the cockpit, and you can actually see this glowing green button that reads gear up on it. Now the one next to it, just a bit more to the right and a bit down, looks like it says gear down. So I would imagine this would be an indicator for whenever you actually click the left stick in to show whether your landing gear is up or down, and most likely there could be an animation for your online character or either of the 3 protagonists where they'd actually reach forward and press this button to raise or lower the landing gear. So we don't know exactly how this is going to work. We don't know how any of this is going to work. This is just pure speculation, and what would make sense being that we already know that a lot of the dials will be moving in the Lazer cockpit. Fourth, we actually have airspeed. So if you look in the main part of the center console, right all the way at the bottom, just above the little helmet side, you can actually see here that it says airspeed. So it ranges all the way from 0 up to about 140, which is over in the red. So this would indicate that the lasers pretty much go about 140 or so knots, as it does indicate knots over at the bottom of this dial. So you can see here what's in the green is rather a normal speed, yellow starting to get on the faster side, and then red is about as fast as you can go. So you can see exactly when you're at top speed, exactly what maneuvers you're pulling off, and how you can keep a decent speed while dogfighting in online. I'd imagine this would be one of the more important ones that you'd actually like to keep track of, and I guarantee that this is going to work in the next gen versions. Second to last, we actually have the compass. So if you look over to the right, we can actually see that there's a little red triangle here that says north, south, east and west on it. So this is of course going to be our compass, so you know pretty much exactly what a compass does, and most of you should probably know that. And you can see here that we're going slightly more north than directly west, and you can see that pretty much over to the right side here is where the top end of the map would be, so we actually have Mount Chiliad being a little more northbound than our current position. And finally, I have 2 very interesting ones, which are actually the pitch and your roll. So you can see that kind of floating around in the middle of the screen, we have these dotted lines and these numbers, which don't look to be actually placed on the console. Now these look like they're going to be mounted to your actual helmet whenever you get in the Lazer. So you're going to sit down and you'll be able to see these icons actually moving around on your screen, independent of where you're facing on the Lazer. So this is going to be showing your pitch, which is of course where you're rolling forwards or back, and your roll is going to be left or right. So the lines which are actually facing from bottom to top right are going to be our roll indicators, and the ones that are just like the dotted, the gradient lines on the right and the left are actually going to be our pitch by the looks of things. So this is just a bit of a brief rundown of what looks like we're actually going to be getting in the P996 Lazer for the next gen versions. Are we going to be seeing a similar thing maybe in the Bessera? We're just going to have to wait and see. Of course it won't be quite as weaponized as there's no weapons on it, but we are going to be able to see more information on this when the next gen version comes out. So if you guys did enjoy the video or did learn anything useful, of course be sure to go and leave a like down below, as it really would help me out. Subscribe for more videos just like this coming very, very soon. Some more next gen information breakdowns, and of course we're only about 9 days away from the next gen versions, so I'll be bringing you guys tons of videos on this when it comes out. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys all very much for watching. My name has been Flair, signing out.